My name is Emma. I'm 32, a financial analyst at a consulting firm in Seattle. I own a 3-bedroom condo downtown with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Puget Sound. I drive a reliable Audi. I take 2 vacations a year. On paper, I'm successful. To my family, I've always been invisible. My younger sister Chloe is 28. She's a part-time yoga instructor who's never held a job longer than 6 months. She lives in a studio apartment that my parents pay for. She drives a BMW my father bought her for her 25th birthday. She has 47,000 Instagram followers. To my family, she's the sun everything orbits around. Growing up, the pattern was clear. When I made honor roll, my mother said, "That's nice, sweetie," and went back to arranging Chloe's dance recital photos on the mantle. When Chloe got a C-, my father took her to dinner to boost her confidence. My trophies went in a box in the garage. Hers were displayed in lit cabinets in the living room. I learned early that silence was safer than seeking recognition. So I stayed quiet, worked hard, and built a life they never asked about. What they also never asked about was where the money came from. For the past 6 years, I've been quietly covering expenses my parents couldn't afford. It started small, $800 here for their mortgage when Dad's business had a slow month. $1,200 there for Mom's dental work. Then it grew. Chloe's car payments when she quit another job. $450 monthly for 18 months. Dad's back surgery. $12,000. Mom's credit card debt from funding Chloe's wellness retreat in Bali. $8,500. I kept spreadsheets. Every transfer, every check, every Venmo payment logged with dates and amounts. Not because I wanted to throw it in their faces. I did it because part of me knew this moment would come. The moment they'd pushed too far. The total, as of last Tuesday, was $94,750. They never thanked me. Not once. My father would text, "Tight month, can you help?" And I'd transfer the money. My mother would call voice tight saying, "Chloe's struggling," and I'd pay whatever bill she mentioned. Chloe never called at all. She probably didn't even know. 2 weeks ago, my mother mentioned casually over brunch that they were planning something special for Chloe's engagement party. "She's always wanted the lake house," Mom said, stirring her mimosa. "We're going to announce we're signing it over to her." The lake house. The one I'd helped them keep when the property taxes tripled. The one I'd wired $18,000 for last year when they couldn't make the payment. "What about me?" I asked, keeping my voice level. My mother blinked like I'd asked something absurd. "Well, honey, you have your condo. You're doing fine. Chloe needs more support right now." I didn't argue. I smiled, finished my eggs, and drove home. That afternoon I called my lawyer. Chloe's engagement party was held at the Harborview Estate, a venue with exposed beams, chandeliers dripping with crystals, and a view of the lake at sunset. 150 people filled the space. Friends, extended family, colleagues of her fiancé, even some of her yoga clients. I wore a navy dress and arrived alone. My table was near the back, next to the speakers. My mother greeted me with a distracted hug. My father nodded from across the room. Chloe didn't acknowledge me at all. The speeches started after dinner. Her fiancé Marcus spoke first. Something sweet about fate and timing. My mother cried. Then my father stood, tapping his glass with a fork until the room quieted. "Tonight," he began, his voice warm and commanding, "we're celebrating more than an engagement. We're celebrating family. Legacy." I felt my chest tighten. "Chloe has always been the heart of this family," he continued. "She lights up every room she enters. She deserves the world." He paused, smiling. "So your mother and I have decided to sign the lake house over to her. It'll be hers, fully hers. A place to build her future." The room erupted. Applause, cheers, a few whistles. Chloe stood, hand over her mouth, tears streaming down her face in what I'm sure she thought was a graceful display of shock. Marcus kissed her temple. My mother beamed. Then my father added, almost as an afterthought, "Emma gets nothing, of course. She's always been independent. She doesn't need help like Chloe does." More laughter. A few people glanced at me, smiling like it was a charming joke. My Aunt Linda raised her glass toward me in a pitying toast. I didn't move. I didn't blink. I just sat there, fingers curled around the stem of my untouched champagne glass, feeling 6 years of silence press against my ribs like a fist. Then I stood. The room didn't notice at first. But I walked slowly toward the gift table at the front, every step deliberate. I pulled a crisp manila envelope from my purse, placed it carefully on top of the tower of wrapped presents and turned toward the exit. My mother's voice cut through the noise. "Emma, where are you going?" I looked at her. And my father. At Chloe, whose expression was confused, almost annoyed. "Home," I said quietly. "Enjoy the party." I left. I was halfway to my car when my phone started buzzing. First my mother. Then my father. Then numbers I didn't recognize. Cousins probably, or friends of the family calling to ask what was happening. I ignored them all, drove home through streets blurred by streetlights, poured a glass of wine and waited. The call I was expecting came 20 minutes later. "Miss Hartley," a calm voice said. "This is David Chin. I'm at the Harborview estate. Your envelope was opened." David Chin. My lawyer. The man I'd invited to the party as a guest. A colleague of Marcus's firm who worked in estate law. Someone who'd blend into the crowd until the right moment arrived. "And?" I asked, though I already knew. "They're reading the documents now. Your father looks ill. Chilly pale. Your mother is arguing with someone near the gift table. I think it's your aunt. Chloe is crying. Mascara everywhere." I took a sip of wine. "Thank you, David." "There's more," he said. I could hear voices in the background, muffled and tense. "Marcus asked to see the payment records. All of them." He pulled me aside after reading the first page. "He's going through the spreadsheets now. Every single line item. He's asking questions your parents can't answer." I closed my eyes. "Good. Miss Hartley," David continued, his voice quieter now. "I've been practicing law for 15 years. I've seen financial abuse cases, elder exploitation, fraud. But watching your sister's face when Marcus asked her how much she knew about your contributions." He paused. "She had no idea, did she?" "No," I said. "She didn't." "That might be worse," he said. "For her, I mean. She'll have to face what she took without ever asking where it came from." "Yes," I said quietly. "She will." The envelope contained 3 things. First, a letter. Addressed to my parents, detailing every payment I'd made over 6 years. Every mortgage installment. Every medical bill. Every credit card balance. $94,750. Itemized with dates and bank statements attached. Second, a legal document. A formal demand for repayment within 90 days, signed by my attorney, referencing my right to pursue civil action for recovery of funds given under fraudulent pretenses. Specifically, the implied promise of equal treatment and recognition within the family. Third, a copy of the lake house deed. The one showing that I'd covered $18,000 in property taxes last year. The one showing my name listed as a financial contributor in the county records. The one showing that legally they couldn't transfer the property without addressing the outstanding debt I held against it. My phone rang again. This time I answered. "You vindictive." My father's voice was shaking. "How could you embarrass us like this?" "I didn't embarrass you," I said calmly. "You did that yourself. This is family business. You don't air this in public. You made it public when you announced I was getting nothing. In front of 150 people." Silence. Then my mother's voice, distant like she'd grabbed the phone. "Emma, please. We can talk about this. Come back. We'll figure it out." "There's nothing to figure out," I said. "Either you repay what I'm owed, or you lose the lake house when I file a lien. Your choice." "You can't do this." Chloe's voice now, sharp and panicked. "That house is mine. They promised." "They promised it with my money," I said. "I want what's mine. Nothing more." I hung up. David called me the next morning with an update. "Marcus left the party early," he said. "Took Chloe with him. Your parents stayed behind trying to explain to guests what happened. Word is Marcus is reconsidering the engagement." "Why?" "He's a corporate lawyer. He saw the numbers. He asked Chloe how much she'd contributed to the family finances over the years." David paused. "She said she didn't know you'd been helping." He didn't believe her. I felt something small and sharp settle in my chest. Not triumph. Relief. "Your parents want to meet," David continued. "They're offering a payment plan." "Draft something fair," I said. 36 months. Include interest." "Done." 3 months later I received the first payment. $2,900. My father's signature on the memo line, shaky and small. Chloe's engagement ended 2 weeks after the party. Marcus sent me a private message. I'm sorry for what they put you through. You deserved better. I never responded. My parents and I don't speak much now. Occasional texts. Polite distance. They know where I stand. More importantly, I know where I stand. I didn't destroy my family. I just stopped letting them destroy me. If you've ever carried a burden in silence or been erased in your own story, know this. You don't owe anyone a smaller version of yourself just to keep the peace. Boundaries aren't cruelty. They're clarity. Tell me, have you ever had to walk away from people who were supposed to love you? Share your story in the comments. You're not alone. Sometimes the loudest revenge isn't a scream. It's the sound of your own footsteps leaving the room.